All right, folks, getting back here, but our faces are only going to be on the screen for about a moment. We're, as said, setting up and in the lobby for Backwater. Oh, swap me.
You don't want to play this?
Lose.
I feel like you could do it.
Wait, he swapped. He like swapped you out for Impact instead of swapping me out for Ragnarok.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's best of 7 times, guys. This could be quick. It could be fast. It could be over. Or it could be really long. The thing about ZvZ is it's fun and actually has a lot of potential now. This matchup has gone so far from what it used to be. Like, I keep referencing this map more for its time frame than the map itself, but like back in the days of Overgrowth was like the worst period of time for ZvZ2, because that was like the really boring roach, no real alternative play.
Okay.
I like it nowadays, though. I think it's way better. I think it's more fun. We get some good taste of that. And, of course, both these players are fantastic here in the grand finals for the Olimoleague. Yep. Like we said, it's up to $500 to grab in the prize pool, but first place is worth $250. Second place, $150. But some cheeky bugger shenanigans, folks. Spawning here in the top left, both players, we have the blue Zerg, Ragnarok.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, he is Impact. I was watching the no drone being made and just giggling. They both actually end up doing the same thing.
It's a slightly different order, though, right? Gas first versus pool first, but same end results.
Structures, yeah. Like they both, I think, should be going for speed and banelings, but in this case, the gas first, I feel would do better. I mean, typically, if you see gas versus no gas in such an extreme situation, it's supposed to do better. You have speed faster, you have banelings at all, but it doesn't always work out that way.
So, going back to our Dragon Ball Z memes, by the way, because this could get really volatile and over quickly with somebody's explicit death, which of these guys is Yamcha and which of these guys is Tien?
Well, Tien is, like, actually better, so I'm going to go with Impact because I know him more.
All right. This is, it's hard to say who will actually take this. Impact, his momentum from all the games we've been watching out of him, insane and so good. So I'm also going to lean towards Impact, but you know, we just watched Ragnarok 3-0 Solar, and Solar's no slouch, so his ZvZ is clearly good.
Yeah, that is certainly true. We have the Bailey Nest actually come down, first?
Super awkward. Impact doesn't have enough to fight. He has to actually back away from this.
His speed is later, but it's not anywhere close to any done for either person, so he's going to be able to run away. He got the Baneling Nest much faster than Ragnarok. Ragnarok actually, he took his guys off of gas at 44 or something like that, or maybe he took 2 out of 3. I don't know, but they put him back on, I think, as he realized what was going to happen, and now he has enough for a Baneling Nest, so I don't know. This is actually, you know, these 10, 15-second differences doesn't seem like it's going to amount to very much. They both kind of just split off of each other here, and they're going to worry about what the other person's doing is so much that they might not attack into each other.
I think what's interesting about that, though, is this would affect it if this was someone actually committing, right? The timings, albeit slight, would make the world a difference if Ragnarok was pushing up the ramp as 2 Banleys finish up. But you're right, like, this is a big enough map that these timings aren't actually affecting much of anything.
So Apollo is like kind of like sitting on me, but he's like purposefully leading into my chest with his head. Okay. Just I might not be paying attention very much.
She's like, guys, my cat takes precedence over StarCraft 2 every single time. It's like, what about the Carbotlings, man?
Oh, no.
I had missed this, but it looks like a couple of Banelings did sneak into the base, by the way, so 4 drones get popped off. Ragnarok already on an incredibly low count because he was all in with these Lings. Now left with single-digit workers. But Impact also has to find a way to defend. He might be getting some revenge here.
What?
Well, that was an Impact for sure. Worker count evened up now with that attack. And this actually ends up leaving Ragnarok in a not bad spot, but Impact does at least have a hatchery on the way for the follow-up.
I'm so surprised he didn't see that coming at all. I mean, obviously he was so dedicated to you know, he saw Lings at the front of his base. He was doing his own thing with like Banelings at the front too, but it took so long for the Banelings to get in the main and he didn't notice at all.
Right, he could have pulled, he could have split, he should have pulled, he should have split. Like, that was really bad for Impact, frankly.
Yeah, but it's still, funnily enough, better for Impact as he already invested into the hatchery. So Yeah, the drone count is matched again, but as long as he doesn't lose the hatchery, which doesn't seem likely, he still is ahead.
Ooh, that was not a great use of banelings.
No, it was not.
It does deny some scouting, which is cool, but I'm not sure how valuable that is right now. He knows he's up ahead as far as the hatchery is concerned. With this Overlord, he can see Ragnarok only just now taking it. So, yeah, Impact takes a lot of drones, and he loses this massive economic lead, but with the hatchery finishing up sooner, he will have a small lead in that regard. However, I can't imagine this game ends for either player soon. It's too many banelings, too many lings.
It's close, but Impact still has the defense, which is most important because he's in the lead. I don't know if you got around to this, if I was cuddling my cat, but thank you, SC Zane, for the Twitch Prime sub.
Oh, I missed that too. Thank you very much. That's like our 3rd sub today. I can't complain because Fricey dropped some fucking bombs on us, but 3 subs is not much for the day, I gotta say. So I guess the quick call to action, if any of you guys got your Prime sub off cooldown, we'd certainly appreciate it. Free subs once a month.
Thank you. Yeah, someone asking how this opened up, and I just think it's kind of worth reiterating because this was a very odd game to open up with. You know, we keep talking about how Impact's in the lead. Impact had more drones, and it wasn't because he opened up with a normal macro build, but a hatchery. No, they both went for early pools, like 13-12, just different order of gas or pool first. And Impact was just playing the much, I guess, smarter game until he lost 9 drones or whatever to a banelings he really should have seen coming.
I know, it's so killer too because he had just pulled that off himself, of course, on the other side of the field, right? It's not like, oh, you didn't know that that was possible. You literally just did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very funny. And a baneling just snuck in here. It could have been devastating if it was 2. 5 more drones would have gone down. But Ragnarok is a little bit desperate to get something done. I mean, it's not the biggest difference in the world. His 3rd base is only slightly behind, but it's always that aspect of being behind 3 or 4 drones, but over a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it does really add up.
Yeah, I mean, actually taking a quick peek at the income graph, the worker count is even. You'd think it'd be a lot closer than it is, but it's not. And part of that's the efficiency of mining. Part of that's just like the odd drone wave. Because you're coming out like, okay, you get 4, then they get 4, then you get 4. Like, there's going to be back and forth for sure. But our prime bait worked. We got 2 new subs. Referar 1 and Bloodbeard 12,052. Thank you guys for your Prime subs. Much appreciate. This actually then gives me the excuse to remind everybody to sync up your Discords and get on the BaseTradeTV Discord for all your subscriber benefits. Things like the big replay pack we sent out yesterday, which had 24 replays from 4 of the top Korean players. Oh god, that was so sick. That was the biggest bundle of replays we've done in a long time. But stuff like that's available to our subscribers. So make sure you get in on the Discord, sync your server up, and get in on that subscriber-only channel.
Hey. Well. So both players go for layers. You know, Ragnarok did show us a bit of an aggressive game earlier on where he didn't went for the lings and then he went for the roach follow-up. No, off the back of these early pools, we have both players up to 3 bases into their roaches. Impact throws down a Spire, though, which Ragnarok is being denied scouting of. He sent 1 ling to the 3rd, and then he almost had a ling enter the main, and it was killed. So he's got to get an Overseer in there, and I'm not sure he thinks it's an urgent matter. You know, he probably expects more roaches, maybe a Hydralisk den like he's going for. But this time the Spire will be a surprise, but will it still do damage? I mean, if he's going to have Hydras, does it really matter if Spire's on the way?
Well, so this is where my favorite use of the Mutas comes in, right? I talk a lot before about the mobility and the maneuverability, but let's say rather than chasing the Mutas all day, Ragnarok ends up leaving 4 Queens and Hydras throughout the bases. That takes away from the army supply, and that can make the use of the Mutas worth that investment. Or alternatively, you just actually fly around and kill drones because your opponent can't catch up to it. You force out additional spore crawlers. Like, I really am a big fan. I'm not a big ZvZer myself, but like I am a big fan of watching players who use Mutas when they do it correctly. And I know of like all the players to reference here, it's weird for me to do it, but Bly does it best, I feel, and I love watching him do that sort of move with the Mutas.
What is scouted? So, I mean, Ragnarok, had he been missing a spore crawler in the main and they immediately went there, it would have been a problem. But I actually like that Impact cancels it. I do think that the surprise is just a necessity, considering, well, no, actually, it's always a necessity with a Spire. Spire just isn't what it used to be, I suppose, in any matchup. But Ragnarok did not overreact. 3 Spore Crawlers is hardly an overreaction, although it is an investment. So Impact almost gets, I mean, he gets something for it at least, but he has fallen behind in whatever tier 2 tech he wanted to go for, right? Like, he's actually going to go for Baneling's speed.
Well, that's what's kind of cool about this, though, right? The Spire may have actually, all things considered, whether it was actually intended to be made or had hoped to have been scouted for a legitimate bait, you know your opponent's going to go for Hydras. More Hydras than normal, at least, as a response to this. So that's where the Banelings end up being really fantastic. However, Ragnarok has skipped to the next step, too, and he's getting a Lurker Den, and Banelings, unfortunately, are not so great when Lurkers are in play.
They really need quite a big concave. Okay, all right. Impact's gonna take this fight. He's trying to get on top of the Hydras. They don't have speed, so they were having trouble, backing off. And this is going surprisingly well. Impact doesn't need Banelings, and his Roaches are so sturdy. Ragnarok can't protect his Hydras. Oh.
That sweet nougaty core of a center, and if all the Hydras are dead, then you got nothing to turn into Lurkers. Suppressing the attack, Impact continues to keep up the pressure. Upgrades are even up now 1-1, so it's not a problem in that regard. And nothing else is really going to come into a factor other than numbers. And right now, the numbers, well, not all here on the front lines, are still looking pretty good for Impact.
I mean, considering what he traded out for, the real problem for Impact is that he doesn't have enough larva. That is the problem right here, right now. He had the bank, he had the better economy, he has the units he can remax faster on as well. Oh, okay. He was also missing larva, but putting it into Banelings works well.
So Lurkers, of course, have their line attack, and that's typically how Banelings roll in a line. But if Impact actually splits and comes in from 2 different angles, that won't be a problem for him. And even if these go off on the Roaches, it's still going to be awesome because Ragnarok with 2 Lurkers would otherwise dominate this fight. If those Banelings do splash damage, they'll do it in faster fashion than the Lurkers would. And I was wondering if he's going to try and manually detonate on top of the Lurkers. I don't like how he's handling that.
I think he wants to, but it's actually really difficult to only detonate a part of the Banelings. He was really hovering over them.
It was some weird stutter step for sure, but you know what? This still gets the job done. Despite the Lurkers being in play, he kills so many Roaches. Yeah,
he still has that 30-40 army supply lead, so it's not like it went really poorly for him, and just needs an Overseer.
Are Cocoons classified as light from a Hydra? That thing took a lot of damage from that Baneling.
Cocoons? Oh, turning into a Lurker?
Yeah.
They don't have as much,
well, they don't have an armor value when you click on it, but are they still considered light? I could be crazy. I felt like that Baneling, one single Baneling did too much damage. That's weird to look at.
No, I feel like the Lurker Cocoon is different from a Ravager Cocoon, for instance, but I don't know why I think that.
We're Terrans, by the way, guys. Hello.
Well, I don't know.
That Lurker, though, gets dealt with pretty swiftly. Corrosive Vials are going to help a ton with this situation. I mean, if Ragnarok had 7 Lurkers, this would be a different equation, but he doesn't. And Impact, by the way, takes a 5th base while this goes on. He presses the issue, catches them before the Lurkers are done. The Lurkers that are here are getting auto-attacked, and Impact takes game number 1. GG. Well played out of Impact to start. But, hey, thank you, Dead Guy 99, for your 5-month resub. Cyber Fusion comes back for 2 months, both using their Prime to say thanks for the wonderful StarCraft 2 content. I highly appreciate it. Well, thank you too, man. And then we had Reverse Banana be another brand new Prime sub. What would a Reverse Banana be? I feel like, would that be skin on the inside and squishy, delicious banana on the outside?
Yes, that's what it will be, like a core, right? It'd just be like any other fruit. Right?
I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my mind grips around this one, man. But I'm now aware that the Olimoleague logo, scumbag that it is over top of the alert box. I'm sorry about that, guys. So we've missed a lot of alerts on the out of game screen. But X-Wings 87 just prime subbed as well. I don't know if you guys ever played this. I remember growing up playing like Wing Commander and like the X-Wing games where you're like piloting the TIE fighters and stuff like that. And you had like the old school like joystick instead of like a mouse. Do you ever play those?
Isn't that where Captain Falcon comes from? Oh, that's F-Zero.
That's F-Zero, yeah. But did you ever play like those flight simulator and such?
All right, no, not really.
I'm sad because like
Pilot Wings, and that was pretty fun.
Those games were the shit growing up, man. It felt so cool piloting that, but I'm like, sure, if I went back and looked at the graphics now, it'd be like pixelated and Final Fantasy VII and unbearable. Like That was devastating for me when they remastered Final Fantasy VII and everyone's been streaming it, right? I'm watching this, I'm like, even the remastered version looks worse than what I remember this game being. And then you look at what it actually looked like, I was like, damn, how did I ever think these were sick graphics? Like,
expectations, man.
I actually
you know what to expect now.
I saw something that had an emote. It's called Cloud Strife, and it's just 4 pixels in one box, and it's just like the color code, so it's like beige, blue, yellow, gray, or whatever.
Yeah, that's clever.
I'm like, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty. I knew exactly what it was looking at it.
I never thought Final Fantasy VII had good graphics, but I also played it later than it was intended, so makes sense.
I just remember watching little pixely like Barrett or whatever and Cloud walking down. I'm like, this is so cool. It's like cinematic. No, it's not. I always guess it's Blackpink for the next map. We'll see you in game. Is Rifkin using the Blair Witch Project camera mod? What does that mean? What is this meme that I'm missing out on?
So I think I know it. Because like in the Blair Witch Project, because the guy was holding a camera and it was the first shaky camera, like you'd always see people's like heads or only their legs, or you'd only see the guy's head as he like turns it on himself, like top of his head. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not doing the thing where I've got my camera angled up to the ceiling anymore. But
well, what do you have?
That's why I'm asking. I don't know. It's just a normal camera setup today. But all right, folks, we're hopping into game number 2 in this best of 7 grand finals. He's up 1-0 and once more dashes towards an early pool. And guess we have impacts.
In the top right, as the blue Zerg, it is Ragnarok.
They say my camera is shaky. I got a bad case of restless leg syndrome today, and I'm probably actually shaking the desk, which is shaking the camera. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
I feel like Blair Witch Project is such an old school movie to refer to shaky camera, though. You know what I mean?
Like
it's the
Cloverfield
first
or
one.
something.
Yeah, that's what everyone I think refers to, because that was the extreme one where like people would throw up when they watched it.
Oh man, I really want to see The Quiet Place, but have you seen the complaints about the movie?
No, like you can't eat popcorn when you watch it.
Yeah, like people were complaining about people farting in the theater and stuff because it's so quiet.
Oh, I really want to see it too. It got really great reviews, but I'm just like, I'll do what I do in normal movies. I'll eat before it even starts.
Do you know, by the way, what's happening at the same weekend as the BTSL apparently?
No.
Deadpool 2.
Oh,
We've
cool.
got to go see Deadpool 2, man.
Maybe.
VIP the shit out of that, dude. You've been to that theater? It's nice.
Yeah, but a lot of my theaters are like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Spoiled American.
Sorry. So of course we have so Impact went for the early pool, but Ragnarok went for a gas pool first. So he actually has lings available, but you know the hatchery wasn't as far along as it should have been, so it's already very low, and it has to be canceled anyways.
I mean, for Impact, I don't think he can snowball at this, but he's taking a really good ling fight, which means he can surround that queen, and if he actually kills this queen, any follow-up, and there is follow-up, is going to be even better. He doesn't quite get the queen, but man, she's so low, and this new queen popping out is not going to have transfused for quite some time. So speed kicks in very shortly for Impact, and Impact, well, he's going to have like a 10-second window of opportunity to really abuse that.
It might be very important, 10 seconds. 2 seconds, whatever ends up being. Ragnarok just trying to make his banelings not quite ready. Impact sees that. He's gonna go for the kill. Oh, those lings almost run into that. Pop on the queen at least.
Yeah, some splash damage is good. Banish for Banling still on the ramp. Not a terrible trade. A little bit more for Ragnarok, but I mean, one good Banling hit from either player could change the course of battle, and right now it's looking better for Impact. Yeah,
Ragnarok detonated 2 for 1 there. That was a mistake.
Some panic sets in, I'm sure.
Yeah, these are dangerous cocoons. You didn't quite see when they started, but he's gonna go for them anyways.
Good position on these queens, by the way. The weak one, if it was up front, this would have been so bad. The extra damage she brings is huge. Being able to focus on those banelings or not is the difference, that second queen being alive.
But Steam has really run out. You know, you always have these lulls in ZvZ with the early pools where you only have so much larva with one hatchery. So even though if Impact had 6 lings trailing across the map every 2 seconds, you absolutely would have won this with momentum. It's just not possible. So instead, he gets a little ahead on the drone count, but a little behind on the hatchery. Kind of sucks. There we go. And is now looking to defend against Ragnarok's attempted counter, but oh boy, not so great.
No, those are 2 really great banlings to clean this up very swiftly. So, all right. This is another one of those games where despite the fact that this opens so differently, this still has like a very similar looking follow-up for both sides. Equal drone counts, equally late hatcheries. I mean, no real big army supply to provide a scary counterattack with. And even if you did, even if the supplies were like 3-1 in the army, a banling could change that. So... I think we're going to have these guys just kind of reel back and eventually get this to roaches. Although I'm sure there'll still be a little bit of aggression and constant scouting. This, to me, doesn't seem like either one really has the ability to push it all in.
Doesn't seem that way. If they're going to push it all in, it is going to be off of 2 bases when maybe it's a little bit more... It's going to be later in the game, right? So Ragnarok goes for a Roach Warren, which if it's at the front in a wall, you're like, oh, it's 2 base roaches. But this game is so weird. It has to be put in the main, and it does kind of feel like he's trying to, you know, he's hiding it for a purpose, not just for I'm developing to the next stage here, but also maybe I want to do something with it.
Queens should be able to completely deny the Zergling from getting in the base to see that too, and there's no Overlord really moving in yet, so... Okay, Impact doesn't know about the timing and goes for a lair. This could be a problem. If he's thinking like he's got time to go to Bermudas, he's going to be met with roaches sooner than expected.
Possibly. Ragnarok did end up adding on an Evolution Chamber. His lair was like a little later than Impact's, but it'd be great for Impact to scout that. It's going to be Ragnarok who scouts the lair and no Roach Warren. And no Evolution Chamber. So it, you know, points a lot more towards Aspire. It would be fantastic now if Ragnarok also scouted all 4 gases being taken.
Yeah, this actually came down after his Link died, so yeah, no vision for that. That's going to kind of suck. But at the same time, you make some guesswork. I mean, it's not like there's 17 different pathways you can go down off of a layer like this. There's really 2.
Yeah. And, like, you know, you sometimes see an Evolution Chamber down or sort of +1, but not the Roach Warren. We usually see one or the other, a Roach Warren or an Evolution Chamber, to kind of signal that it's going into later stages of the game. So I feel like Ragnarok should be very cautious and will try desperately to try and get a follow-up scout, but it might be very difficult to do.
He did plop down a 3rd, by the way, but he has stopped droning for the time being. So the emphasis here on the roaches could, maybe be a little defensive and goes back into droning in just a second. But if he's going to keep making roaches, the idea here is you do get that timing that, you know, you're going to hit before the Spire's done, before the mutas are really out. And there's only one Spine Crawler up.
Yeah, you know, he didn't see what he wanted to, which is all 4 gases or literally the Spire. But what he does see is a later 3rd. He saw a Spine Crawler, where if you're going into roaches, why would you be so afraid to put on a Spine Crawler? And I think he knows what's up. His choice, gonna go for more Queens, a Nidus Worm that's being denied on the scouting. So very, very smart play here from Ragnarok. Impact, I don't know if he's gonna be able to survive. I
really like this too, not just because the Nidus Worm will allow the Queens to get across the map, but, you know, you're not gonna bleed out 5 or 7 roaches as the mutas peck away at them, you know, walking down the center of the field.
Oh boy. Oh boy, Impact didn't even have quite enough larva. Now he does. 7 mutas finally on the way. Going to be staggered out a little bit. 8. But they really have to get on top of the Nidus Worm immediately with, like, Lynx, too.
There's 4 Queens with another 2 on the way. I mean, the anti-air is not going to be amazing for Ragnarok, but Queens can actually fare against small amounts of mutas pretty nicely. 3rd base might fall apart, but this is really a larva factory.
Well, it's still really nice. I mean, what if the 3rd base dies and Ragnarok, I don't know, goes home? Like, this could get to a very weird situation.
Oh, Spore Crawler. 2 Spore Crawlers. So it's like he's okay letting this die then, because he's really dedicating it now.
Yeah, he is. I kind of wish the Ragnarok had tried going into the main, but I'm sure Impact was aware that this was a possibility, even if he didn't get direct eyes on it. So he was probably scouting for that. Now that it's at the 3rd, it has to slow walk over here, giving plenty of time to get these Spine Crawlers up. At least a few of these should finish, even if Ragnarok get pushed right now. He's not. There we go. Okay. 2 or 3 these should finish.
Casualty here, so they're stacked up, and if the Baneling's getting on top of them, well, actually, Impact's on Baneling's dish out the damage. Roach is now being beaten away at. Queens have quite a few transfuses, so they're shooting away the mutas. I mean, Impact will, with the Spine Crawlers, push this back a little bit, but even if more Spine Crawlers come down, it's not Roaches they necessarily even needs. Banelings and Lings will help with this a ton.
It will. Like, if he can get a surround and avoid the Spore Crawlers with the mutas, then he could take on the Queens, but it's going to be very hard to do. He's going to take away at least one of these Night of Swarms. Why not? It's a bit of a freebie. There's nothing else to do.
Ravagers, this is a good answer too. Just Corrosive Bile. I mean, the Spine Crawlers take about 10 years to reburrow. He's going to actually advance the Spores up on the front line. I love this. They're going to soak some of the shots too. But the Banelings roll in to take out one of the Spores. The second one goes down. No, the transfuses keep it alive. That's super clutch.
That's going to be it. GG.
GG. Oh my god, Ragnarok. Bloody Ragnarok. That was so cool.
That was cool.
All right, well, that's going to tie things up 1-1, but best of 7 means we've got a lot of games ahead of us still, folks. So a quick commercial break while we get into the next game. Sit tight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Excuse me, Twitch chat, but we've got a problem that we need to speak about here. When I go online to broadcast, and this might be a little entitled, I expect a bare minimum level of toxicity. But here we are with you guys saying nice things. Hey, how are yous? This isn't what I've come to expect after 5 years of streaming. How dare you guys be so kind and nice and friendly in the chat? You should really think twice about your actions, honestly. No forcing boys up in here. No, we got some really friendly people being super duper nice. Big shout outs to everybody tuning in, of course, but yeah, having a bit of chat and banter during the breaks is always nice. And glad to see some very nice people tuning in today. But we're in game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1. And if you're just tuning in for whatever reason, this is the grand finals. Best of 7. It's the March conclusion to all the weekly events. Big prize pool. Mule? Yikes. Pool on the line. I can't speak. I'm done. In the top left, playing for Sidestorm Gaming, we've got the blue Zerg Ragnarok.
In the bottom right, wanting to get things done, it is the red Zerg Impact.
Yeah, so he is heading across the map pretty quickly here, and he's going to have a big follow-up. This isn't the small, non-gas invested version, right, that you trade hatcheries for and end up getting ahead. This is committed. And with the Banelings too, he's not even trying to hide this. He just barrels right down the middle of the map.
Yeah. Now this time Ragnarok does not have that pool first with the gas. He did go for hatch as expected in a more normal ZvZ. But there's like complications to both of those responses. In the last game, the hatchery was pretty low, so it ended up having to be canceled. In this game, of course, it's just there's no lings already being made. Also, Ragnarok does not quite know if it's going to be a Baneling follow-up, although we know that it is. So he's got to respond about as severely as possible. So Spine Crawler should be on the way, and it is. It looks like the hatchery is just going to be given up.
I think one of the bigger giveaways we see nowadays is when the extralings come. The Overlord sees us through the natural. Because, yeah, like I said, there's 12 pools without gas that are just a small ling investment that trade you leads in the early game. But this is committed. He sees more lings on the way, and a Spine Crawler is the bare minimum for this. His own Baneling Nest will help match it, but speed being done so much sooner.
Yeah. Ooh, he hadn't killed enough lings to be able to tank. Like, sometimes if you kill enough lings, it doesn't matter if they have speed or not, right? Like, ling, but...
That was really bad use of the Banelings, actually. He needs that to help with the Spine Crawler. Bust that bad boy down.
Also doesn't want Broodlings to do anything here.
He's gonna just run around them.
I don't know if Impact should really dedicate to this. He has a drone on the way. He could wait to build a hatchery. Okay, more drones on the way. He's not finding an opening. Oh wow, we're doing something really cool, which is hold positioning lings in the mineral line gaps so that the Baneling has to be used at least on map before anything else. And ooh,
that is bloody clever.
Cocoons.
That being said, though, actually this is a solid wall. That's so cool.
Yeah,
I've never seen anyone do that before. And we've seen this situation so many times. He got stuck against that one Baneling. Yo, Ragnarok. Even if he loses this game, he just won it in my heart. That was such a cool precision move.
Kudos. I mean, maybe Impact played his hand a little too hard there. Like, kind of revealed what he's going to do by running around with that one ling. Like, okay, where's the opening? But, I mean, to have it so perfectly positioned.
You know what, though? This is still not terrible for Impact, all things considered. Because he does say, you know what, if I can't get a lead by killing you, I'll just take my hatchery. And This is going to be finished pretty soon. There should be Zerglings, if not a Baneling or two, to defend it. Queen's even walking down to the low ground, so the counterattack out of Ragnarok is so small that this is not an issue.
At least he has one available.
Oh, he hit... I guess we missed that. Some Banelings down here.
Oh.
Walks up, 7 drones. And a hatchery lead. Now this is severely in Impact's favor.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Ragnarok at least has an option to counter, where sometimes you don't have speed, you didn't get the Baneling nest. But that's no longer really a point to be made. It's just he's so far behind. That could have been a tap out if he was like on a ladder game or something. Like he really didn't care. It's just it's gonna be hard to recover from that. With the drones and the hatchery being later, I'm like, hey, it might not be so bad. But
well, the problem too, there's also all these hidden costs, right? Like having to make the spine crawler, for example. And it's not just that there's like small leads and differences, but there's so much more that went into this that will not pay off for Ragnarok in the long run. But goddamn, Ragnarok showing us some good games. So I gotta believe, like, if there's one Zerg player that we're gonna see make this work from this position, I would believe it's him. He's done some really good plays so far today.
Impact's going for a very quick lair again. And remember, like, context-wise, it's quick. 5 minutes usually not quick. Ragnarok, he had the Nidus Worm option because he also had a lair, but he also already had a Roach Warren. So even if the lair wasn't done, he at least could send roaches across the map. Not going to be the case here. Impact goes for his Roach Warren and an Evolution Chamber, so it is going to be just, for the macro game. But Impact's going to have a lead substantially in the macro game. And roaches come down to numbers almost always, and he's going to have more numbers.
I'm sorry, this is not game related. I can't let this go. Oh, that's clever. Expensive Foreigner says, super controversial opinion, it's okay that Ghost was canceled. How dare you? StarCraft Ghost was coming out at a time where I just discovered Tom Clancy and all these great fucking spy/shooter get like, yo, I was so hyped for StarCraft Ghost. You take that back right now. It's not okay.
I mean, I guess I prefer it being canceled than it being a flop. Except for Blizzard has a pure track record.
Okay, so that's a fair argument, except the game was coming out at that time where there wasn't really, like, there was no Halo setting the standard, right? The game could have been a flop and still been okay in your, like, rosy-tinted nostalgia goggles.
Wait, really? When was it? I don't even remember when it was coming out.
It was for, actually, I think it might have been after Halo 1, actually. I should take that back about the Halo comment. But even then, Halo 1 didn't set the standard yet either. It was really like Halo 2 and onwards, where that game was like, shit, this is where we should be.
I mean, that is true, but Halo 1 was the reason the Xbox even survived, so it was still pretty standard setting.
Yo, for me though, Xbox was all about finding out that someone had made a Phantasy Star follow-up to my favorite Dreamcast game of all time.
It's so dumb that I had to correct myself for saying Xbox One, by the way. Fucking names.
Yeah, the Xbox the First.
That's what it should be referred to from here on out. Okay, so yeah, no, it did sound like it was going to be bad. Just the way that developers seem to like talk about it, like they just didn't know what they were doing. Which, hey, could have been the case for Overwatch, but that clearly turned out very well.
I want to go to that alternate dimension though, where Project Titan actually became like a really sick MMO with all the characters from Overwatch. Like, don't get me wrong, Overwatch, as much as I really hate playing the game nowadays, it's still objectively really cool. I love the lore, I love the character design, like, there's so much cool parts of it.
Well, we've about enough time for Impact to make a move. I said he was going to have the numbers, and he does, but it's not as much as I was thinking. For having that drone lead, he's also not continuing to reinforce, and I guess that plays a huge part of it. He's actually just securing his drone lead with 3 more on the way, so... Oh, wow. Ooh, okay. All right. Bullying his way in here. Is this really the wise decision?
Impact actually sent 1 roach forward there that just soaked all the banelings, so no splash damage on it. He kills the spine crawler, and while he continues to take a good fight, defender's advantage for Ragnarok looks like it's already kicking in. So the choice to withdraw is definitely the best option here for Impact. But again, he's still up workers. His bases have been ahead of Ragnarok's all game. In fact, we haven't showed you guys the income graph, but if I had to peek, I'd imagine, yep, it's mostly looking red.
That makes sense. Ragnarok, I thought, might have been able to get not a lead off of that, but he might have gotten an opportunity to pounce back if that was a mistake from Impact, but apparently it wasn't. Like, he traded very well. He got some of the Ravagers, and he was able to leave with some of his roaches intact, which I just wasn't expecting for how hard he dived on it. So Impact secures his defense, secures the economy for a little while longer too. Although Ragnarok's now finally matched him.
Yo, do we have any Wardy subs in chat, by the way? If we have a Wardy sub, can someone use the Wardy Kapapopa emote? And then Tempo, my dude, tell me that emote isn't like the human Rag Rappy. Guy saying PSO was my jam on Dreamcast. First game I lost a bajillion hours to. Dude, I grinded the caves looking for those rare items. Oh man, I'm sorry. Back to StarCraft. I can't ignore the PSO calls.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, like, for StarCraft, great, right? Like, even StarCraft, Brood War, and all that, like, single player and not being into esports, it was still part of, like, probably the most core part of my childhood. But we've all got those games that, like, just stuck with you. Like, other than StarCraft, like, what's your, I guess Final Fantasy, I'm guessing, but what's your game for your childhood?
I was gonna say, it's pretty easy to guess it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah. I don't know, this is, like, a real rare call to action, guys. But one of the things that I feel like influenced my entire online presence and like how I approach things and even taught me politics at a young age, Bloody Shattered Galaxy. I don't know if we got like even one single person here who remembers that game, but that shit influenced me like crazy. But Shattered Galaxy, PSO, and StarCraft, those are my jam. That's my trifecta of games that shaped who I am today.
I really wish I could buy every game that I had nostalgia feels about, but sometimes I just simply forget what it was. Like, I'm thinking of Brave Fencer Musashi right now, and it's just something that I always like, and what was that one game I really like? And then I forget what it is, and I never buy it.
That was actually being Crazy Taxi for a while, but Impact, we're looking for a really big fight. Unfortunately, Ragnarok's coming with a hell of a lot more roaches. A lot more, up by a 10 even.
Yeah, this is Ragnarok's time to shine, man. Impact was not ready to go, and he is the one that now gets pounced upon in an even bigger way than Ragnarok was. He might just move the game straight up now.
I said it early, and I'm going to reiterate it now. If there was one guy who was going to come back from that position, Ragnarok would be possibly him. He grows up out of the larva. Oh my god, Ragnarok actually wins that game. What? I don't even understand ZvZ anymore.
The thing is like, you look at the income graph, which I did at the very last second, it was entirely painted in red, but Impact had just made like 8 more drones that he really should not have. He was up to 60. If he had just put everything possible into roaches, it's still a game, but not one that I thought, you know, I thought it was gonna be more in his favor, sure, but I think it still would have been a game. So that was a mistake. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made, but yo, it's still, I love it because it led for a cool comeback. A really epic return from a really devastated player. So you would also mention too, like, oh, he may have tapped out if this was ladder, right? And I think, yeah, I agree, probably would have happened, but it's a good thing he didn't in this game. Because, of course, for the monthly finals, the prize pool is quite nice. $250 for first place and $150 for second. That game could be the difference between these two in first and second if this goes the distance. That being said, though, next map coming up, loser's pick. Neon Violet Square.
So when you said that that game was Crazy Taxi for you, I just imagine you trying to remember the name of this video game, and you're like, you were a taxi driver. You drove around pretty crazily, but damn, what was the name of that game?
So, okay, yes, that is a typical Rifkin dumb thing. For me, though, it was more like, what was that one game with all the Offspring music? Because that's how I would remember it. Because you're going downtown and just blaring the Offspring. Like, I know there's other songs in the game, but like 9 out of 10 songs were the Offspring, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, like, to be honest, if I was a little bit younger when I played Vice City, I probably would have said the same thing. Been like, what was that game? Like, you drove around a car, and there's like a bunch of like 80s music. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, well, Neon Violet Square coming up next. And players are looking to be ready. So here we go. Hopping into the intro. The map intro. Fuck, I'm done. We'll see you in game. All right, game number 4 4. God damn it. In this best of 7. I just mentioned a zombie grip during the intro. My brain is still asleep, and if that's not evident of it, evidence of it, I don't know what is. I don't know what's happening. My brain is like legitimately shutting down on me here. So we'll see if I can last through this whole best of 7. Until then, not early pooling. To the bottom right, we got the orange Zerg player Impact.
In the top left is the blue Zerg. He is Ragnarok.
2-1 is a pretty nice spot to sit. But oh man, Twisted Metal, that was such a weird game.
I think it was a lot of it in our generation. We're close enough, right? It was like a lot of people's first, like, you felt kind of badass playing it, I suppose. You know, it was blood and fire, and it was dark and gritty, and a messed up clown. So.
Well, for me, it was more like, this is the first game where you're conceptualizing a car, driving a car with guns, right? I'm like, this is Crazy Taxi with guns, right? But nowadays, you think there's all these games out there like Rocket League, you're playing soccer with cars. Like, that doesn't actually stand out as a weird concept of a game. But back then, yeah, that was a kind of radically crazy game.
The way that they designed the cars too, because it was like, you know, how many cool ways can you design a car with guns? But no, they did like every single car was, well, up until maybe the later Twisted Metals, but like they were really distinguishable. Like, just remember the guy, was his name Axel? The guy that was in between two tires, like his body just being constantly ripped apart.
Yeah, I don't remember the names. I know what you're talking about. I love actually watching when they do speedruns of those games though, because I was never good at them, and you watch them do the glitches and whatever, but like it's super cool watching these games that you were never good at being done right. But actually, on that topic, I wish I could remember the name. I saw this video on YouTube about last week sometime. This guy playing Far Cry 5, right? And if someone knows who this is in chat, by the way, you'll be my hero. But the guy was playing Far Cry 5 like a goddamn legend. And there's no like aim assistance or anything like that. But it was things like he'd throw a shovel in the air and time it out perfectly to hit the second guard while he jumped at the first one. So it'd be like an instant double kill and things. Like, and it was smooth. There was no pause and waiting. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing. It had been well practiced. Like, it was so sick and it was so smooth. And when I watch people play games like that, I'm like,
damn. Fuck,
I wish I could do that. Like, I don't look at athletes and say, man, I wish I could run a fucking 5-second mile. I look at these gamers and be like, I wish I could play games like that.
Yeah. Some guy brings up Road Rash. By the way, I have a +1 Carapace build on the way. Ragnarok took the gold base. Actually kind of an interesting ZvZ, but fuck it, we're talking about other video games. But Road Rash was how to say, like, it was redone. It was there's a game that is exactly like Road Rash that's out on Steam right now. The developers admitted that it's basically Road Rash. They wanted to make it again for the current generation. They didn't even really improve on anything. It's just literally fighting people on the street by going downhill. But I almost like respected their just like attempt to do that more than I respect any of the other remakes that we see from some of our favorite games. Like, I compare that to like giving me the game but updated it on PC. Great, thank you. To the Gauntlet. The second game that they made on Steam.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, it's probably Gauntlet 3, but regardless, like, you know what I mean, though. Like, that was just kind of boring.
It wasn't like the original Gauntlet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't, you know, just make the game again, update it for me, and I'll be pretty happy, you know?
Yeah, I think one thing that's really underappreciated by a lot of indie games, though, and I, like, really gotta shout this out, is the style. Like, everyone thinks, oh, okay, it's 2018, so we want super realistic, super 3D, high polygon models. And I'm like, no, you know what? Like, some of these indie games, they're 2D, they're smooth as fuck, and the art style is great, and it's so much more enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, I know everyone's going to be talking about, like, you know, my Final Fantasy 6 run, why did they just keep everything the same, except, you know, update it so I can play it?
Oh my god, I hate the updated graphics for the Final Fantasy. I mean, you've seen me bitch about this in your chat enough as is, so I'm reiterating, like, beating a dead horse, but yeah, some of the old stuff is just so good. But Celis looks so bad. They redid her so poorly. She was my, like, first waifu, man. Okay?
The attack is underway. Impact was, of course, setting up for this. He has Carapace so he can survive the Baneling shot, but Ragnarok did not play straight to roaches or something silly while taking a gold base. He did not undermake Lings. So, well, Impact should have had, I feel, a great opportunity to catch someone who's very spread apart by surprise, or at least, you know, get something done here. He really doesn't get anything. He's still against a person who has a gold base and now has a big army, too. I don't know.
Tries to go for a bit of a counter, but as we see here, Impact is prepared. Or should be, but he just doesn't have the numbers. Carapace is great. But I mean, this numbers game is overwhelming for Ragnarok. Couple
Oh,
banelings
boy.
though, they can soak the hit. The banelings, we'll take 2 banelings to kill the Zerglings, guys.
Okay, so this one will do it, but they'll make them like, really weak, of course.
I don't think he knows that though, because that one baneling was happy to try and hunt, and it's not really worth it when you realize, wait, they could survive that hit.
Oh, he definitely knows his carapace. Well, I mean, okay, so the roaches were really where the army supply was coming through, and obviously they weren't going to come and help out anytime soon. They got to cross a very big map. So while Ragnarok still has a lead, he didn't kill Impact there.
Actually, one of the harder things that's going to be deal with for Impact too is like these can surround the roaches and actually kill them.
Yeah, they need the support of the Lings. I don't know what Ragnarok's doing there. I mean, it's one mistake. It's not like he couldn't do anything. He's surrounded, but
Sorry.
but I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. It seemed like he had almost thought they were going to be his Lings, like he used the wrong control group. It seems like a bad idea overall. Well.
By the way, Angel de la Muerte bringing up Binding of Isaac. Dude, between like Lethal Frag and Cobalt Blue and like I've spent hundreds of hours watching streamers play Binding of Isaac. I have never touched it once.
Neither have I. I think I have it too. I just never open it.
Man, that was OG too. I don't know what he's up to nowadays. I haven't followed him for a couple years now, but Lethal Frag was probably like one of the first streamers I was like really invested into.
Ragnarok still has a lead despite the odd roaches being out in the middle of the map without any support. Up 20 supply. He, I guess, was up drones, but not anymore. So I don't know how much of a lead it's going to keep. As Impact has these upgrades, which pretty substantial. He's going to have the Carapace upgrade in his favor, and he's already on his way to +2.
Cobalt Streak, thank you, chat. Like I said, though, my brain is failing me right now, and I'm gonna blame this on sleep deprivation, but honestly, I don't have an excuse. I'm having trouble with words at this point. Like to the point where I'm like, man, am I sick and I just don't know it? What's going on?
Man, I hate my situation right now because I'm having like hunger pains, but not because I didn't eat. I just had something so delicious that I want to go out and buy another one.
Oh man, that's like the chip effect. You can't eat just one.
Yeah. So I'm kind of even hoping that Ragnarok ends this right here, right now. Closer I get to go into the grocery store. Because he still had the army lead, even though he's behind an upgrade.
Yeah, the problem is though, if he doesn't win it here, Impact's gonna have more drones, but not if he's got to pull them like this. Some hold position micro is kind of cool to see too, but Ragnarok's actually being pushed off for now. It's not over yet, but 20 roaches to 10, and with reinforcements coming across the map, will those spine crawlers be enough?
I think so.
This was important though. This still did even up the worker count.
Yeah, but Ragnarok's still going to be behind an upgrade. In fact, he's going to be behind 2 upgrades for like 20, 30 seconds. So that's a big opportunity for Impact to even move forward once he really takes care of this, once he realizes he shouldn't be afraid anymore. But for now, down 20 supply, he should be afraid.
Stop this nostalgia storm. You're so lucky it's not Saturday and we're not topically discussing cartoons from the past.
I saw that Amazon Prime has literally has a show that's like old cartoons or something, like a very generic title. And I was like, ooh, I can watch all my Bugs Bunny and the Acme Corporation stuff. Like, this is good. But another push in, this time spine crawlers are helping out, and the upgrades are in effect for Impact. Like, he has 2-1.
And with this surround, he's killing a lot of roaches. Ragnarok, oh, he's so close to his own +2, but even then, Impact still has that armor upgrade. So as he pushes back into this, he's got to be careful how far he falls into Ragnarok's side of the map, but he's killing a lot and pressing the issue.
Yeah, this is Impact's time to shine. As with the 2 spine crawlers, he was always pretty good defensively, but now with the upgrades, even only 1 upgrade in a couple of seconds, still, he has time to try and push this. He also knows that Ragnarok's on a bit of a timer with the gold base now depleting. There's another mineral patch just left, as I said it. So he's going to have to transfer his workers to a 3rd that's not quite up, or 4th that's not quite up. And Impact's even capable of finding the drone transfer when that happens. Okay, bye-bye.
Sinsen as a Russian streamer who actually... He's very polite, and if he senses some lag, he tends to just leave, so may have felt a bit of a spike and wanted to keep it safe. Now, Ragnarok continues to push back into it. It's been pretty dicey, but with +2 weapons, it's still not really enough to overcome these numbers. Impact is looking very good right now. Gold base still chugging along. Kind of forgot how long this has been up for.
Yeah. It's really trying to run out. One dry. Impact is... I guess he's on 3 bases. Like, if Ragnarok holds and takes like a really good fight, which he's going to try to now, pushing into a bit of contact from Impact, he does have an economy once he transfers those workers still. But I don't know if he can hold. He had to wait for another upgrade to complete 2. And while he does push back now, Impact's keeping his army supply level.
I'm really surprised though. I mean, this goes to the credit of Ragnarok. He's been fighting an uphill battle against these upgrades ever since his Banelings like didn't work against the Lings. The Roach count for a time was looking good, but then got beaten back. I mean, this has been surprisingly back and forth between the two of them, but I'm a little biased here. Like, everyone knows I'm cheering for Impact because he's been doing so well in our events, but Ragnarok is really impressing me.
He is. He's doing quite well. Both of these guys seem really well matched for each other. I mean, in my opinion, watching the ZvZ, it just proves that Solar was at a lesser like degree than Ragnarok and ZvZ. It wasn't that Ragnarok got lucky a couple times, or even that Solar's necessarily like terrible at that matchup. But Impact on a high, it seems like recently, and just the multiple types of games we've seen so far. It's not just a macro game or just a cheese game every single time.
Yo, I got a quick question for Twitch chat, and this is gonna be a little bit of number voting and letter voting, okay? Because we're still revisiting nostalgia trains. Type 1 in chat if you played DK64, right? That game was legit. But type D if you still find yourself occasionally singing that intro rap song from time to time to yourself. DK Donkey Kong.
Never done it.
That was my very first N64 game, actually. I got that bundle for Christmas, the green N64 with the Donkey Kong golden cartridge that came with it.
I didn't. I never really played Donkey Kong, which
I never played like
obviously
Donkey Kong
did.
Country on like SNES or anything. Like the N64 really was literally my first introduction to Donkey Kong.
Yeah, because like I obviously did. It just never really had like a super big place in my heart or whatever. So
Yes, Tippy Big. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. Okay, I gotta stop. This is terrible. Focus on the game. Why is Cash just commenting on the game? Well, this is actually, for legitimate reasons, fallen back to a very passive play from both. This was like the arms race of a ZvZ, because both of them got to this point where it was actually too terrifying to push in. They realized how close the matches were, and if they lose their attack, the counterattack could end their lives. But Impact, quite notably, is suffering from a very nasty supply block and has been for a few moments now. So Ragnarok's actually maxed out. Impact is only just now maxing out.
I'm surprised to see this game go on for so much longer. Ragnarok with a huge bank is just and almost on his way to +1 carapace now. Might be losing drones, but there's a very scary army kind of prowling for damage done to Impact. Impact, of course, having to take the back base. We'll run out of minerals soon too.
Actually, this is getting to the point where these guys are really going to be relying on one base mining at a time, like you're leapfrogging from base to base. So losing workers means more army supply, and that's not so bad for Ragnarok here. That being said, though, this attack has so many corrosive biles. I didn't even realize Impact is up to 13 Ravagers.
Yeah, he has a lot more. And Ragnarok just is going to be hard times finding a very good engagement when Impact was ready for it. And I agreed about the drones, and I was going to say, if he doesn't lose any more, when it was about 10 drones dead, now it's up to 18, though, and I think that it is starting to really matter. Ragnarok has the money to replace it, but, you know, even Larva can come into question at some point if they have to remax. And they both are running out of minerals. Well, I guess in Ragnarok's case, he's running out of minerals, but Impact's case, he's going to in the future because he took the 4th base, which has less mineral pouches.
Well, the Spire is a very interesting follow-up to this because, notably, this hasn't moved towards Hydras. This has been Roaches and Ravagers versus Roaches and Ravagers. And even if Ragnarok's thinking about the transition, if Impact catches them off guard with this could work out really nicely. There's no spores, there's hardly any queens. Like, these mineral lines are ripe for the picking. And if Impact, even if it's just like 5 mutas, can kill all the drones, he's going to win this game.
Impact tried to take what looks to be kind of a secret base. You know, he didn't go for the gold. He didn't go for the fourth or the fifth in the middle that he, maybe should have. But it is found out, and it's not going to be able to be secured. But with the Spire, once it's done and completed, the roaches will be pushed back, and then that's when he can secure multiple bases on this side of the map. Ragnarok's actually pushing in here. No, this is so bold.
It is, but that choke is going to make a very difficult engagement for Impact to push through. It creates a sort of double concave that he's done here as he splits up left and right, but again, so many Corrosive Biles. It's hard to say who's going to win this fight, but right now, despite the fact Impact's getting 17 mutas, it's looking kind of dicey for him. These will take so long to clean up all these roaches.
Well, yeah, that is true. It'll take a long time, but he'll have the support of his own roaches. If it was just 17 mutas, then I think it's like, oh, this is going to be way too much damage. But Impact is going to be able to protect his third. He's even going to protect his main here as Ragnar decides not to run up it. And now he has to take a fight where he's just taking extra damage, so much extra damage, against a very sizable amount of roaches, too.
He's making... It's important he gets these out of here. He realizes this almost a little too late, because he did want to pull out of this once he realized, wait, I need to get my Hydras, but I can't just build Hydras. I need something in front of my Hydras, because it is not just mutas. It is, in fact, a lot of roaches and Ravagers. So I think we've actually seen Impact seal the deal. This surprise move, so efficient, so good.
Yeah. Ended up working out. It was a dangerous thing to do. Oh, somebody overloads. It was a dangerous thing to do. You know, if you were saving up and 200 invest in the Spire and they do get a good concave, a good push, well, maybe they don't work out. But in this case, ended up being a fantastic maneuver. Ragnarok desperately trying to get to 6 Hydras. That ain't going to be enough.
No, and the ones that spawn on the backside, they get picked off immediately. Oh, boy. Well, Impact ties things up now 2-2. Pretty good for him as we get further and further into this best of 7. Yoga Gear says, I'm officially using Twitch TV and BaseTrade to check how well our internet connection is working. Oh, to see if our PC's gonna accept 1080 60. Yo, could you just use like speedtest.net though? Wouldn't that be easier? Alright guys, we're playing another commercial here. 2 minutes. Once we get back, it'll be game 5. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us here on this Tuesday morning. And we'll be back soon. Oh man, we didn't get to play the super epic Eastwatch intro, but I gotta give a big shout out to the Twitter user, Han Franz. Because yes! This is exactly who I was talking about, and I seriously recommend you watch these YouTube videos, guys. He says the guy playing Far Cry 3 like a boss is probably a YouTuber named StealthGamerBR. That is exactly who I was thinking about. Thank you. I recognized the name instantly. It is so crazy fun watching him play through these levels. I know nothing about Far Cry, but the way he does it is just so smooth that it looks like almost fake. It's so good. And plus he'll sometimes put in like a couple of cheeky bloopers from like when he messes up runs. Anyways, very fun. Definitely recommend. But we're at game number 5. Things tied up 2-2 in this best of 7. And in the top right, we have the Red Zerg, Ragnarok.
And in the bottom left, as the Orange Zerg, it is Impact.
I feel a little bit guilty because I'm not super hyped off of Impact's win just now. But it was definitely well-deserved. Ragnarok has been putting up a hell of a series, and this guy might be just way better at ZvZ than anyone anticipated.
That seems to be the case. I do recall Ragnarok being particularly good against Zerg. Back when I was like, oh wait, is this guy like, is he actually cool? Is he good? But I can't quite pinpoint what matchup that was. ZvZ sounds familiar. In this specific game, Ragnarok should win, hands down, no problem, easy peasy, build order counter.
Especially if he hides, like if he actually goes around the Overlord too, it gets even worse.
Yeah, this is so bad. I mean, there's been a miracle hold or two, I want to say. We've seen Jaedong hold 3 Hatch for pool versus a 4 gates proxy, and we've seen at least 1 or 2 people hold this. But more because the aggressor messed up, like they couldn't decide if they wanted to kill the third or go straight to the main or what. So, okay, Impact does see this, cancels the third. That's pretty important.
Yeah, that was what sorry, I was going, oh no. Not because Impact wouldn't see the links, because he actually would. The way he had taken the pathway there, unfortunately, longer to the punchline, means he attacks later and doesn't get the stealth attack that he was hoping for. So this works out a little bit in Impact's favor for multiple reasons. But speed finishes up. 3 spines is not an overreaction. He knows that he's ahead in drones. His opponent has dedicated so much to this. So if those spines hold, Impact will definitely be ahead. Even if he loses this hatchery, he'll be in a pretty good spot with his drone count. But that hold is questionable.
Exactly. The hold is going to be so difficult. Like, you just... The options to you are so limited with this late spawning pool.
Canceling the other spines, I mean, that was a big mistake. Hold position's pretty nice. That was cool to see.
There's so many lings. GG.
GG. Impact, actually, to give a little extra bump of a shout out to, had some really cool, like, game-defining hold position drone micro against Hero. So, it's cool to see him using it now in ZvZ, too. I keep gushing about these matches. I feel bad, because I know you didn't watch them, so you're not going to get a lot of these references, and maybe not everyone tuning in did, but I'm just still so extra impressed with how Impact played yesterday that it's so rubbing off on the cast here today. But that being said, it's now match point. It's a best of 7, so first to 4 wins. So if Impact can win this next game, whatever it ends up being, he will walk away today as the Olimoleague champion.
Yeah, it's looking good. Both these guys have excellent ZvZ.
Populator in chat, or not Populator, excuse me. Why did he cancel the spines? That's Raven Darkski. That's not Populator's name, and I love Populator. What's up? It wouldn't have mattered, to be honest. Like, the spines could have finished, he still probably wouldn't have held that. And Impact was thinking maybe it'd be better to spend the money on something else. I don't know what was going through his head, but realistically, it wouldn't have mattered. It was too many Zerglings. Yes.
I think the only way you do hold that is if they go to the 3rd first for some reason. Maybe it's a different map, or I don't know. But they go to the 3rd, you cancel, then they go to the natural, that dies. Then you have everything set up in the main, and it's holdable. But, you know, that that would be a severe error of judgment on the person who did the early pool.
Wow, I'm not gonna spoil it, but those Korea versus the World results.
Right, yeah, I know.
All right, guys, we're getting into Catalyst. See you on the map. Alright, rarely does our map intro run over something important that happens, but in this case, you'll still see the end result of it. Ragnarok had built a drone, but then chose to cancel at the last second of the drone actually almost hatching to make a earlier spawning pool. So, decisive last second change here.
Which is fine, because in Legacy of the Void, the larva replenishes fast enough to not matter.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't know.
But it's still cool to see, and sorry for the intro running over it, guys. Anyways, bottom right side of the map, all said and done, it's Sidestorm Gaming's Ragnarok, who is officially on his last life.
The top left, as the orange Zerg, it is Impact.
Wait, no, I have that wrong.
Wait,
Impact's
I was like,
on his last life.
Impact's on his last life.
Ha ha ha. I was just checking to see if you guys were paying attention. No, okay, so here, I want to actually address this really quick, guys. I'm so sorry. I had actually hoped to, because I know Zombie wouldn't have wanted to join me for it, take this cast, maybe if we did a freefall or not, eventually cover the WCS EU qualifiers. But I'm actually, like, not scared, but concerned. I'm actually not thinking right. So I'm sorry, but after this is all done, we're probably going to shut down the stream, host somebody. I'll try and make it up to you guys. I'm going to go rest. If I'm back later tonight, maybe we'll do some free-for-alls in the evening or something. But I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with me today, but I feel dumber than normal. I feel off. Yeah, like it's something is strange.
That's a more polite way to put it. Yeah, I feel off.
So I'm really sorry too, because I know it's affecting the broadcast, and I feel a little, not even a little, I feel quite guilty about it. But apologies, guys, apologies, and let's just continue through with it. Try and finish this off. That's Ragnarok is trying to do here.
Yeah, Ragnarok wants to get the kill on. You get the kill in the hatchery. Your job's not quite done, but it is a good start. If you kill a lot of drones, that also isn't a bad start. But you know, at this level, you're not expected to lose more than 2. And if you're really good and lucky, you don't lose any at all. So Ragnarok now has to wait for the next step, which is the Banelings.
Chat brings up a good point, by the way. I have been foolishly drinking water during the broadcast and not that sweet, succulent Sneak energy drink. Which, by the way, it's my last week in the campaign with them, guys. So if you are planning to buy any, or if you've thought about it, or hell, if you just haven't clicked the link yet, you can do me a favor, type in Sneak ad in chat, check them out, and yeah. Jokes aside, not bad. Not bad at all. Bailey's though dancing around. They're doing a good job dodging the lings because he doesn't want to die to 2 or 3. He wants to like take several with him, trying to protect the new Banelings with us too. But I think the Speedlings can do that, and then Ragnarok pushes through. But there's Spines and Queens waiting for him, so these Banelings are not gonna get much done. Yeah,
they should probably just pop on the Spine. No, actually with the Queens there, they can't. Oh boy. Oh no, this isn't looking good for Ragnarok. You know, the first attack not being able to kill the hatchery or get more drones is already bad, but you know, this follow-up is held. Ragnarok is not going to win it here, I don't think. It's gonna go to the ace match. Yeah, you think so too. GG.
All right, well, those are 2 very quick games. So while we would normally squeeze in another commercial break here, guys, I did not. Oh,
that's one of the movies I watched.
Oh God.
Disaster Artist.
You can't. Oh, okay. I was gonna say Disaster Artist is fine. What did you think of it?
At the end, you know, they spliced the scenes together of the room, and then what James Franco did, and it was beautiful.
I haven't actually seen the Disaster Artist yet. I really want to, but
it's good.
I thought you were gonna reference like straight up that you'd watch The Room on the plane. I'm like, you can't watch that movie alone and maintain any degree of sanity. You have to have a friend that you can shit on that movie with while you watch it. Like,
I can't imagine any airline carrying that movie. It's in classics.
I feel really bad because you know what? Like, some of my favorite actors have turned out to be like really awful people, right? Like Mark Wahlberg turns out was like a huge fucking asshole before he got into acting, but I still love him as an actor and I think he's hilarious. And then like there's all this stuff that comes out about James Franco, for better, for worse, for true or false, but I'm like, I still fucking love James Franco.
Yeah. Well, ready to go.
All right, Black Pig, last map, guys. See you for game 7. Real quick, though, to address a very legitimate question in chat. Rifkin, why aren't you drinking Dodger Coffee Co.? Sponsored caffeine stuff. I really like Dodger Coffee. Like, I can legitimately say the cold brew was great. I don't have any more of it. And Sneak is literally paying me to talk about the energy drink, tweet about it, drink it on stream. Like, Dodger Coffee Co. is not. So when it comes down plain and simply, it's my job versus what isn't my job. But I think if I had either, they'd both be pretty acceptable wake me up choices, to be perfectly honest.
Wake me up.
When you go.
Nah.
Alright. I did it. You can't not. It's like if I say somebody
once told me.
There you go. Top right side of the map, guys. It's the Corsair Impact for the 7th time in a row.
And in the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, it is Ragnarok, and they both went for the exact same pool. Cool.
Wow, spawning cool it is.
Yeah, it's also cool.
N3A Power cheering 500 bits in chat with some hype.
Way to go, he passed.
Dude, N3A Power has actually been killing it. He's been like locking down bit supreme for the most part. Lately, he's been dethroned, and that's okay. And I'm not trying to bait him into bits. This is the end of the broadcast. Don't do it. You're not going to get recognition, okay? But the guy's been killing it. He's been sticking on that #1 slot for like weeks. So big shout out to that guy. Huge supporter of the stream.
Awesome. So what's funny about the situation is there's been so many early pools in this best of 7 of varying different types. Well, mostly a Baneling all in, actually. That Ragnarok is I want to say appropriately, like panicking getting a spine crawler. His Ling just saw that it was not the Baneling version though. Impact cleared a fire a little bit. Did not.
Can't not say it like that now, right?
Well, hi, Mark. He didn't get a spine crawler, so he didn't have to cancel. I didn't technically waste 25 minerals, I suppose, but they both recognize the situation and they both just kind of say, "All right, who droned the most from this?"
He's tearing me apart, Impact. That doesn't work without saying Lisa. Yeah.
I'm so glad I never watched the real movie. I'm very glad I got to see highlights of the worst parts, basically.
It's a movie that, funny enough, I don't know if a lot of people remember the website Newgrounds, because it's not as popular as it used to be, but it used to be like the YouTube. It was the go-to site for things. And Newgrounds popularized the room memes pretty good before anyone else did, I think. A lot of animators just taking shots at how bad it was.
I bet they were. I can't believe it came out in 2001, apparently. Or maybe 2002? I forget the exact date, but somewhere around there. I felt like it was always so much older. I felt like they were all wearing stuff from the early 90s, and I just realized because it has the same quality as like a porno. That's probably why.
Yep, sounds about right. People say, how do you not remember Newgrounds? I mean, the thing is, there's people who, like, Newgrounds isn't what it used to be in terms of popularity. I think it's fair to say there's probably some people in their early 20s who may have never actually seen or visited the website.
Oh, I definitely agree. I think that, you know, people are just overestimating how many... Wait, no, they're underestimating how many young people there are. There we go.
This actually, for the first time of all the nostalgia stuff we've been going over today, this actually makes me feel old. When people are like, if Newgrounds is nostalgia for you, it's still so fresh in my mind that it shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
What was disturbing for me was I realized, like, it's like 2003 or whatever, was I was like, I think my high school teacher wanted us to watch The Room. But that's weird because I wasn't in high school back then. I was only 12. Oh shit, I was pretty close to being in high school. That's what I realized.
No, you came all this way. No. We watched you chase this.
No.
And you're not getting the last hit. You know what kills me about this too? If you had walked to the edge of I think you would have been in range. This is so infuriating. I'm so mad at Impact right now. Ragnarok, win this series, please.
Well, it's pretty weird and wild that Quinn was even allowed to go that far, man. Like, both of them pushed off speed for, like, longer than they could have, you know.
Yeah, right. It's the fact that Impact went that far and the fact that Ragnarok didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to make lings. You know, both other droning quite a bit. Ragnarok did drone a little bit more. He also is going into +1 missile already, whereas Impact just like fell behind in that regard. He might have more lings here, and that is something to note because there's no banelings to instantly change that. But if his lings don't do anything, he is a little behind. He invested quite a bit into this, you know? But I feel like they just might. That's so many lings. So many.
Way so good with the ling count. And what was that? They like slipped through each other like a shuffled deck of cards. That was really weird. But 48 Zerglings to 32. Nobody's got a Baneling to pop off. There's no easy solution to this. So I love the idea of trying to wall this off and using the queens, reduce the surface area, but that means you're going to give up your third.
Oh, the counter though. Ragnarok with the smarts. He's a smart cookie.
The counter, the sequel to The Room.
This isn't gonna work though. Oh, it was a good idea, I think. He really, like, he would have potentially had lings in every single base if he did not wall off his natural. So this was, I feel, one of the best ideas he could have, but it's not going to get the hatchery. It'll kill queens, and that's all well and good, but I think the third is a bit bigger of a kill. Impact takes also the drone lead here, and has fallen behind in the +1 missile. It's like, not so far behind.
I guess I'm glad that queen finally died, though. I'm still very upset about this, guys. There are enough Zerglings here to surround. Anytime you get a surround of the roaches with a thin line like this is great. If they're backed up against the wall, it's different, but a couple transfuses kick in, and he's actually not going to go because the micro on the Ravager cocoons. Oh my god, Ragnarok should have lost so much more than he just did. That was a good defense.
That was. He should have lost at least 4 or 5 roaches and instead lost like 0. That's pretty cool. But Impact, they were kind of excess lings anyways, and while, yeah, you know, hindsight 2020, they'd be better just waiting to kill a third again or something like that. It was a good attempt. He still is up 14 drones. He's going to have +1 at a normal time. The biggest thing he's behind on, I suppose, is going to be the lair. So his +2 is still going to be behind that of Ragnarok's quite a bit, and he won't have speed. So I guess Impact can't really... You can't really like do anything for a little while. You don't ever want to push with the one not having speed. So as cool as it would be that he has a follow-up all-in, perhaps, it just isn't really going to be too possible. Ragnarok has a bit of control over the game now.
Lings dart around. Not really much they can do, even if they get to the mineral line. It's 4 Lings. This attack is what's going to matter, but Ragnarok's so far behind his supply. I mean, he hits hard, and Impact is initially not all collected here, but he's going to have Defender's advantage and already has more Roaches, already has more Ravagers. Ragnarok did not bring enough to make this worthwhile. Fuck, I can't.
He didn't, but it was an okay thing to do, I suppose, because he was able to escape. Again, the Roach speed really kicking in, so he escapes very quickly. And he manages to grab an equal number of drones. So he was behind for a while, and Impact still has the benefit of all the time he had more drones, and he's still going to have more drones. But yeah, Ragnarok's trying. He's trying to make up for that deficit at the third base, and he did not throw the game away with doing that, so he just kind of crawls into his corner and now is on his way to another upgrade. His upgrades are really, really, really getting far ahead of Impact and Tunneling Claws.
Unfortunately, unless Ragnarok pulls off a really cool swap like the Mute is, I mean, the Tunneling Claws might make it work too, but unless he was like, this really is a you gotta pull something out of your ass situation. That being said, though, I believe earlier in the series we did already witness Impact take quite a bit of damage from a couple Roaches, right? That had just walked in, no Tunneling Claws, nothing like that. And it just took him a long time to respond, so he lost a lot of drones to it. So if Ragnarok can successfully pull off this multi-pronged hit squad, Tunneling Claw his way to each of his bases, I think he could actually kill a lot of drones here.
I think it's very possible. It's like Impact thinking the same thing, but obviously very late to it. Burrow just completed. Ragnarok has the upgrade lead, a substantial upgrade lead, so he's behind 10 army supply. Could he actually break it here?
By the way, big thank you to N3A Power for all the bits. He's asking what's number 1 today. You're the only one shared bits today, dude, so you're already number 1. Don't worry about it. I feel bad. Like, I'm not trying to discourage bits, but yeah, there's not much to do. We're in game 7 out of 7. There's not a lot left on the cast. Save them for next time, man. My best suggestion. So we can properly hype you up. But I'm also having like a serious day of brain farts, and my brain's mush.
We're just... The chat was talking about it.
You called out the brain slug.
Yeah.
Futurama memes, man.
And someone brought up the brain slugs of Animorphs, which have a name, but they're like the Yerk, whatever.
Those were weird though. Those were like slugs or something, weren't they?
I don't know what that. I don't remember ever seeing that. I just remember that you ate oatmeal, I think, to stop them from taking you over.
Really? I don't remember much about that. Animorphs is such a weird series.
I very distinctly remember in the show some guy was going crazy and he just kept eating oatmeal.
So, by the way, he does manage to slip by some of this.
BA Power did not listen to your advice.
No, he didn't. 1,501 bits, and that 1 bit puts him on the top slots. Now he's got gold in chat. Thank you very much, dude. And I really appreciate your support. Again, I know it's brief in the end of the day, but you rock.
Thank you. Ragnarok has Tunneling Claws that's not really been doing very much, although he's trying. Ooh. He's really trying, but Spire, exactly. This is a little more tricky.
Well, this is what I talked about, though, specifically, where I said unless he pulls off a sneaky move like Impact did earlier, and referencing this exact move, then he didn't really have a chance to take on an army fight. He was so outclassed. But we notice Impact has that same problem. Granted, he's got more queens than Ragnarok had in the past. There's no spores. There's no real answer to this if he doesn't see it coming, and I don't think he's going to see it coming.
This could be big. Because even if it's something where he defends the last second, which is very possible, Spore Crawlers, you know, they develop pretty quickly, he's still going to lose, like, Overlords, drones certainly will go down, the Queen goes down with she had the Transfuse, and he can't really counter. He's going to take so much damage, and he knows that Ragnarok has an army still left over.
Still though, picking off the Ravagers, it just makes these future fights more doable. Because it's not like Ragnarok is without... He's actually got an upgrade lead over Impact. So if it comes to pure Roach versus Roach, without Ravagers in the back to support this, and now the Muta's coming back home too, he might actually be able to take this fight. But oh my god, holding down that Hydra button. 20 Hydras coming up as the follow-up. If Ragnarok wants to get damage done, he's running out of time.
I like this decision from Ragnarok. He realized his Roaches were going to win, but unfortunately, the Spore Crawler is literally just finished. Hydra count growed. It grew really, really quickly. So
it growed real good.
Yeah, it growed. Indeed. The Muta's cool decision by Ragnarok. A little bit too late on it. Still going to have to just look for Overlords. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. But it's not what he truly wanted, I don't think.
Thank you, Jibby, for the 1 bit. Says I'm so relevant. Or 2 bits, excuse me. He's chipping his 2 cents.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, Ragnarok's going to go for the mass Baneling.
Ooh.
It's going to take a long time to set up, though. You want difficult hooks.
Yeah.
Obviously, that upgrade just started for the melee.
My bigger concern, too, is like these Roaches actually get in here. Impact is not in position to deal with it. It's like the Muta's just got shredded. Yeah.
They weren't going to get too much more, but there was like 4 Overlords, 5 Overlords they could have killed. I think that they could have done a lot more.
They did force the tech swap, and if we're going to be honest, guys, I think if, hypothetically, 36 Zerglings become 36 Banelings, Ragnarok could actually take a really good fight against what is almost, not quite, but almost pure Hydralisk army. This is so many Hydralisks.
We'll see how that works out. Ragnarok has a very stable economy despite the little bit of Roach shenanigans. Actually, Impact's on losing tons of drones here. 19, 20, very quickly losing out on so much. Ragnarok, I was worried that this wouldn't be good enough. The army was right on its tail, but it ends up doing so much damage, and Impact's just not equalizing it. He's doing like Roach rabbis of his own, but they're not doing anything.
He's almost escaping too with Roaches like this. It's so good.
I thought Impact was the one that was going to be in a lead as he looked to be pushing forward with the Roach Hydra army, but that was an excellent decision once again from Ragnarok, who might lost his mutas, but still found a way to deal a lot of economic damage and pull the army back. Is now maxed out, is going to have centrifugal hooks and +1. I thought that was going to take way too long. Oh my gosh, it's a lot of Banelings, and now they're roly-polies.
That is 46. It doesn't matter what they hit as long as units are clumped up and they take splash. But the splits out of the Hydras are really impressive. I still don't know if this will be enough. 45 Roaches is still 45 Roaches. There's no guard for the Hydras, so while they've got a lot of damage, they're getting taken down very quickly. In fact, only barely 10 remain.
And Ragnarok is remaxing just a tiny bit faster. Although if he gets chased down... Changeling wall! Changeling wall! Oh. That was Impact's changelings anyways.
I know, you got confused on the colors, and so did I as soon as you started shouting out about it, but...
It would have been so cool!
Ragnarok has so much better income for the follow-up to this. Like, Impact will rebuild, but Ragnarok will remax. This is the difference.
Ragnarok might be a little shy because he lost all those Banelings, and if you go for Banelings, you usually get like 1 to 2 punches kind of max, and then you fall in behind. There's too many Hydras, there's Lurkers for good 6, and there is Lurkers on the way, so Ragnarok should be worried here.
I just really wanted to interject. I feel so terrible right now because my brain is mush and I'm not properly representing this series, but to be perfectly clear, even with my bushy brain, I can appreciate just how nuts this ZvZ, this final game, Game 7 in this Best of 7 has been. Both these players are playing so bloody well, and they're making a lot of cool things happen.
Have you been watching a lot of English shows?
Because I said the word bloody?
Well, it feels like you've used bloody about 5 times more than you have in the past.
You know what? I do love a lot of BBC, but no, actually, I haven't, funny enough.
I mean, it's not bad. It's something that, you know, you used it once or twice before, but now you use it 5 or 6 times. It's your new adjective.
Now I'm going to be self-conscious.
Sorry. I didn't even know it was a bad thing. I just noticed. This is a very interesting game, though. It was overall an interesting series. Clearly, these guys are very well matched for each other, and not because they're both equally bad, right? Like, they both got to the finals. They're just playing really, really well, and it's turning into a bit of a base trade, perhaps base for base. But Lurkers, oh boy, the Lurkers.
Lurkers win when it comes to fighting, and Ragnarok knows this. The reason he's trying to get on top of this ramp is so he can take a concave and control where the Lurkers can go. And of course, he can never move down this ramp again as long as the lurkers are there. But the lurkers get really close, and he might just corrosive bile them. Nope, gonna back away once again. Hit and run tactics here. How is this going on the other side of the field, though? Ragnarok doesn't appear to be defending very well on his home front. But oh, 10 more mutas, and you know what? All those hydras became lurkers, so that's a good way to start pushing this back. Even if it's roaches here or lurkers there, mutas might have power the matchup again.
Huh. Okay, all right.
He can't make 20 hydras this time. His hydra was sniped. Ragnarok,
yes, it was.
That was the first thing he targeted. Oh my god, no way. This is so
funny
sick.
too is that Impact made a second Roach Warren, thinking I guess that would be the target.
Yo, nobody ever does like a mutas swap, have it fail, and then goes into mutas again. But Ragnarok does. The fucking legend.
This is getting very interesting. The thing is, while the mutas could have maybe cleaned up the army and then taken some control back, they aren't. So it is turning into a real like base race. And I was gonna say I don't think mutas win it. Now it's Sport Crawlers. GG.
Oh, I'm so heartbroken. That was so sick. I gotta tell you guys, there's not a lot of mirror matchups I would ever reach out for when it comes to like setting up show matches, but I would not mind a repeat of that series when I'm in better health and sanity. Like, that was the best of 7 that went the distance. Impact does win it, so congratulations to him, Olimoleague monthly champion. But yo, if Ragnarok is not in your guys' hearts right now, and you're not stoked for this new Psystorm player coming to play in WCS, you will be in months to come if he's playing anything close to like we saw today.
That was a pretty epic ZvZ. Very nice showing from Ragnarok.
Yeah, that was some really good stuff. But okay, let's talk about what's going to happen. First off, thank you, Panty Switch, by the way, for the 45 months. Where's my child support, Rifkin? Our baby needs new shoes. Well, between the two of us, you're like the sugar daddy, dude, so you take care of it. I ain't got money for baby shoes. Shit. Phlogiston, thank you for the 100 bits as well. And Cautions, Prime subbed during the middle of the end of that game. Middle of the end of the game? Oh my god, I'm so done. Guys, so on that note, I would love to otherwise do some free-for-alls with you guys right now. I would love to cast them, get the viewers in, and do what we would normally do, but I really don't know what's going on, and I feel like the only solution... Like, I'm not even tired necessarily, but I should probably sleep, because I know I haven't been getting a lot of sleep, and I think that my verbal diarrhea and misspeaking is making it... If it's noticeable for me, then I should definitely take care of this, so I'm going to end it here. I feel bad. So when I wake up later today, I will go live. Normally, we wouldn't do this on Base Trade. Normally, I would do it on my channel, on Riff_King. But I'll tell you what, I'll be back later tonight on Base Trade. If anyone wants to play some free-for-alls, please come join us in the channel. I can't say when that'll be because I'm basically going to force myself to try and sleep and be back whenever I wake up. But I do apologize because we've all been looking forward to these free-for-alls, and I don't want to turn this into a thing where we're constantly pushing it off and always saying next time, but it has been twice now we've said next time, and I promise you it won't be a third time, okay? Regardless of that, though, if you are a Diamond and Below player, this is that call to action. Tomorrow morning, we'll be doing the BTSL Amateur Series. Wardy will be here with me. We'll also be doing the BTSL group. So please, pretty please, !noob in chat if you want to play, if you plan to sign up. But other than that, yeah, we're done for the day. So Zombie Up, it was short, it was sweet, and it was too much Zerg, but it was nice hanging out with you again. Are you gonna be doing some streaming yourself later today, or what's going on with you?
Okay, so story for me is I would like to do something today. It is my busy day, and I just got back, so I might be too tired, or you know, I'm gonna hang out with my family. So, not promising a stream on my personal channel. That will start up again tomorrow for my normal stream schedule, which you can find on twitch.tv/zombiegrub, and also follow me on Twitter at ZG Gaming. And then I also have the Ballistic Sprawl finals tonight. It's the finals of the season, so that's cool. It's at 9 p.m. I think EST now, so tune in for that. And that covers it. Yeah.
I would like to apologize real quick because oh my god, just now my facial expressions, guys, was not responsive to Zombie Up speaking. I was listening, but I forgot we were gonna do a giveaway. Like, that's how mush my brain is. I forgot to do the fucking giveaway. So I'm not gonna run it now. The stream's over. People are already leaving. But tomorrow I'll do 2 to make up for it. Okay. Like I said, I really don't know what's going on. I'm so out of it right now, and I don't understand why. So my apologies, guys. I hope I haven't let anyone down through this, but we did get through the cast, so thank you again for joining. I'm gonna go. Oh, I thought the WCS qualifiers were already starting. Have they not started yet?
No, they have. They did, but the event on Team Liquid's in 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well then, I was gonna say we probably go host Wardy or something, but I don't see him online, or he is online. Fuck, I'm dead, guys. All right, go support Wardy, give him some love, watch some of the WCS cast, have a great time. I'm so sorry, I don't know what's happening to me, but we're gonna end the stream, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.